Right now, at this exact second, 730 American women are vanishing. They are stepping off the edge of the known world. They are descending into a hostile, crushing darkness where sunlight does not exist, where the air is manufactured by machines, and where the pressure outside the hull is enough to snap a human spine like a dry twig. They are not prisoners. They are volunteers. They are the newest warriors of the United States Navy's submarine force. For 100 years, this was a forbidden world. The silent service was a brotherhood, a closed ecosystem of men living in steel tubes, breathing recycled air, and sleeping in spaces smaller than coffins. Critics said women couldn't handle it. They said the quarters were too tight, the hygiene too difficult, the psychological pressure too immense. They were wrong. What you are about to hear will destroy every stereotype you have about military life. The USS New Jersey just shattered the glass ceiling by becoming the first fast-attack submarine built specifically for a mixed-gender crew. But the real shock isn't the plumbing or the doors. It's the data. Here is the statistic that has the Pentagon baffled. These women aren't just surviving, they are outlasting the men. Their retention rate is 74.9% higher than their male counterparts. They are taking the hardest job in the Navy and asking for more. Today, we are going deep. We are bypassing the press releases. We are going to show you the brutal reality of life underwater, the hot racking, the shower logistics that require military precision, the smell of amine and diesel that clings to your skin, and the psychological warfare of living with 140 people in a sealed metal can for months at a time. Let's start with the most basic biological necessity, sleep. If you think economy class on an airplane is cramped, welcome to a submarine berthing compartment. Imagine a hallway. Now line the walls with aluminum pans. These are the racks. Each rack is 77 inches long and 27 inches wide. That is shorter and narrower than a standard twin bed. But here is the kicker. They are stacked 3 high. Top, middle, bottom. If you are in the middle rack, you have about 20 inches of vertical space. You cannot sit up, you cannot kneel. You have to slide your body in horizontally like a torpedo loading into a tube. For 6 months, this is your entire world. Your personal space consists of a pan beneath your mattress that is 3 inches deep. That is it. Your uniform, your civilian clothes, your toothbrush, your photos of your family, everything you own must fit in a box the size of a pizza delivery bag. Before 2010, privacy was a curtain. A thin piece of fabric separating you from a walkway where 14 men were constantly moving, fixing pipes, and running drills. But the USS New Jersey changed the game. For the first time, there are doors, real doors. It sounds trivial to a civilian, but in the submarine world, a door is a luxury item worth its weight in gold. It represents a psychological barrier, a tiny slice of sovereignty in a world where you are never truly alone. And then there is the infamous practice of hot racking. On some attack submarines, there are more people than beds. When you wake up for your shift, you roll out of your warm sheets and another sailor, exhausted from a 12-hour watch, rolls right in. You are sharing the warmth of another human being's body heat. It is intimate, it is gross, and it is necessary. The women on board have to navigate this. They have to change clothes in spaces where elbows are constantly bumping. They have to sleep while heavy machinery grinds just a few feet away. The noise never stops. A submarine is a living organism, pumps whine, ventilation fans hum. The hull creaks as the depth changes. There is no night or day here. There are no windows. The sun is a memory. The ship operates on an 18-hour cycle, 6 hours of watch, 6 hours of maintenance or study, and 6 hours of sleep. Your circadian rhythm is destroyed within the first week. You sleep when you are told, not when you are tired. If sleeping is hard, going to the bathroom is a tactical operation. Submariners call them heads. And on a nuclear submarine, the head is a marvel of efficiency and a nightmare of logistics. Imagine a bathroom the size of a closet. Now imagine 140 people trying to use it. On ballistic missile submarines, 15 officers and 140 enlisted sailors share unisex facilities. There is no men's room and women's room. There isn't enough space for that. So how does it work? It works through a system of rigid discipline. When a female sailor needs to shower, she flips a reversible sign on the door, "Female in use." For that duration, the bathroom is a fortress. The men wait. It requires constant communication. It requires respect. If one person forgets to flip the sign, the system collapses. And the showers themselves, they are not for relaxation. Fresh water is precious. The submarine makes its own water by desalinating seawater using the heat from the nuclear reactor. But the capacity is limited. You take a Navy shower. Water on to get wet, water off, soap up, scrub, water on to rinse, water off. Total water time 2 minutes. If you take a Hollywood shower, letting the water run, you are stealing from the crew. You will be shamed. You might be disciplined. And then there are the toilets. Submarine toilets don't flush like yours. They use a vacuum system or high-pressure seawater. The waste goes into a holding tank, the sanitary tank or sand tank. You cannot just flush whenever you want. If the tank is full, or if the ship is maneuvering silently to avoid detection, the toilets are secured. Imagine 140 people holding it in because a Russian submarine might hear the noise of a flushing toilet. When the tank is finally pressurized and blown overboard, it sounds like a cannon firing. If the valves are operated in the wrong order, well, let's just say the waste comes back into the boat. It happens, and it is the worst day of your life. For women, these challenges are magnified. Dealing with menstruation in a pressurized tube with limited supplies and zero privacy requires a level of stoicism that most people cannot comprehend. They create mental privacy because physical privacy is impossible. They stare at a bulkhead and pretend they are alone, even when 3 people are brushing their teeth 2 feet away. Food is morale. Food is the only thing to look forward to. The galley, the kitchen, is the size of a food truck, maybe 10 by 14 feet. In this tiny steel box, culinary specialists cook 4 meals a day for 155 people. They use deep fryers, griddles, and convection ovens. The heat is intense. The ventilation struggles to keep up. The crew's mess is the dining room. It seats about 24 to 30 people at a time. Do the math, 155 people. 24 seats. Eating is a conveyor belt. You sit down, you eat fast, you get up. The tables are bolted to the floor. The benches are padded with orange vinyl. This is the living room, the conference hall, and the cafeteria all rolled into one. The food starts out great. When the sub leaves port, every nook and cranny is packed with fresh food. There are boxes of apples stacked in the hallways, cans of coffee tucked under floorboards. But after 2 weeks, the fresh food runs out. The lettuce wilts. The milk runs dry, replaced by UHT shelf-stable milk that tastes like chalk and doesn't need refrigeration. Then comes the canned era. Canned peas, canned chicken, dehydrated eggs. The culinary specialists are magicians. They turn powdered eggs and frozen dough into something edible. Pizza night on Saturday is a holy event. Midrats, midnight rations for the night shift, is usually leftovers or something greasy like corn dogs. Women integrate seamlessly here. They sit at the same tables, complain about the same powdered eggs, and share the same sea stories. The galley is the great equalizer. Rank matters less when you are all eating the same slightly stale bread. We have to talk about the air. You are not breathing outside air. You are breathing a chemical cocktail manufactured by machines. The submarine has scrubbers that use a chemical called amine to remove carbon dioxide from the air. Amine has a smell. It smells like dirty socks and ammonia. It gets into your clothes. It gets into your hair. When sailors come home, their spouses often make them strip in the garage because the submarine smell is so pungent. Oxygen is generated by splitting water molecules through electrolysis in a machine called the bomb. Sometimes, to save power or keep the ship quiet, the oxygen levels are allowed to drop slightly. You get headaches. You get tired. You heal slower. A cut on your finger might take 3 weeks to close because there isn't enough oxygen in the air. The air is also dry. Your skin cracks. Your lips bleed. And there is no sunlight to help. Vitamin D deficiency is rampant. The psychological toll of the blackout is real. When the hatch closes, the world disappears. There is no internet, no live news, no phone calls. You receive family grams, short text-only emails maybe once a week if the ship comes to periscope depth to receive them. But if the ship is on an alert mission tracking a target, the antenna stays down. You could be underwater for 90 days with zero contact. Wars could start and end. Presidents could change. Your grandmother could pass away. You wouldn't know until you surfaced. For the women on board, leaving children behind is an agony that is hard to describe. But they do it. They compartmentalize. They focus on the mission, keeping the nuclear reactor stable, tracking the sonar contact, launching the weapon. When the ban was lifted in 2010, the old guard predicted disaster. They said women would ruin the camaraderie. They said sexual tension would destroy the chain of command. The incident in 2014 at Kings Bay where sailors were caught recording female officers in the shower seemed to confirm the worst fears. It was a dark moment. 12 sailors were charged. It was a violation of trust that shook the fleet, but the Navy didn't back down. They doubled down on accountability. They purged the bad actors and reinforced the culture of professionalism. And the result, Admiral Frank Caldwell, the boss of naval reactors, put it bluntly, our female officers are crushing it. The numbers don't lie. Female enlisted retention 74.9%, male 73.8%. Female officer retention over 25% when the expected rate was only 15%. They are staying, they are promoting. They are qualifying as dolphins, earning their submarine warfare insignia faster than many men. Why? Maybe it's because women who volunteer for this are already the best of the best. They know they are walking into a microscope. They know they have to be twice as good to get half the respect. So they are tough, they are smart, they are resilient. By 2028, the Navy expects to have its first female submarine commander, a woman with her finger on the trigger of a nuclear arsenal. This isn't just an American experiment. Norway, Australia, Canada, the UK, 20 nations now allow women on subs. South Korea is building new 3,000-ton subs with separate quarters designed for women. The world is waking up to a simple fact: a nuclear reactor doesn't care about your gender. It cares about your competence. A torpedo doesn't care who fires it. It cares about the math. The USS New Jersey is just the beginning. The new Columbia-class ballistic missile submarines, the ships that will carry America's nuclear deterrent into the 2080s, are being designed gender-neutral from the keel up. This means more bathrooms, better privacy for everyone because, let's be honest, men hate open showers too. It means ergonomics that fit different body sizes, like valves that don't require gorilla strength to turn. It turns out, designing a ship for women actually makes it better for men too. Who doesn't want a door on their bedroom? Who doesn't want a cleaner bathroom? Diversity is driving innovation. It is forcing the Navy to rethink 100-year-old habits that were based on suffering rather than efficiency. These 730 women are pioneers. They are the astronauts of the ocean. They are living in a machine that is hostile to human life. They are breathing amine. They are sleeping in coffins. They are missing their families, and they are doing it to hold the line. When a submarine disappears under the waves, it becomes the ultimate deterrent. It is the only weapon system that can survive a nuclear first strike and retaliate. It is the guarantee of American safety. And now that guarantee is being upheld by women who were told they didn't belong. They didn't just knock on the door of the clubhouse. They kicked it down, welded it shut behind them, and took command of the watch. So the next time you look at the ocean, remember this: beneath that gray, cold surface, there are mothers, daughters, and sisters moving silently through the deep. They are tired, they smell like diesel, they miss the sun, but they are there, watching, waiting, protecting. If this deep dive into the hidden world of the silent service opened your eyes, you need to do 3 things. First, smash that like button. It helps us tell these stories that the algorithm ignores. Second, subscribe and turn on notifications. We are working on a massive documentary about the psychology of nuclear war that you do not want to miss. And finally, a question for you. We talked about the lack of sunlight, the recycled air, and the isolation. For a $30,000 bonus and free college, could you handle 90 days underwater? Or would the claustrophobia break you? Tell me in the comments below. I could do it or no way, get me out. I read every single comment. If you think life on a submarine is tough, wait until you see what happens when things go wrong. Click the video on your screen right now to see the story of the USS Thresher, the submarine that went too deep and never came back. It is a cautionary tale that every sailor knows by heart. Click it and I'll see you there.